if I had to like bet real money and a lot of it, I'd bet 10.
This is a shiesty.
The glaze is just ridiculous over here.
Jack in the box, line that shit up.
Zone 6, Section 8. I'm just going to eat regardless. He's shaking his head. You don't know what's going on.
He's losing his mind.
All right, welcome back to the Boomer Backfield. This week we are finally going to look into the 2025 season at a full glance. A little bit way too early, post-spring.
Way too early.
Yeah, but I am starting to get juice as the weather gets warmer. I'm starting to feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Each fish I catch is one fish closer
Yeah.
to the start.
That's
of
exactly
football.
how I feel. Definitely as it gets warmer, I start thinking about football. So it's about that time.
Yeah,
All right. My name is Spencer.
My name's Kylan.
And I'm Colby.
So, yeah, we're just going to be going through every game of the OU football 2025 season and, quick rundown, prediction, if we're excited for it, what we're looking at, all that jazz.
Yeah,
So it starts off with Illinois State, August 30th, week 1. What I will say about week 1 is college football as a whole has some good matchups. Clemson, LSU is going down.
Yep.
Kansas State, Iowa State. Week 1 is actually looking really
Colorado.
good. Yeah, there's some good stuff going on.
Notre Dame, North Carolina, I think.
Yeah,
It'll be fun.
It's going to be a fun week 1, not in Norman necessarily. I mean, it's always fun to get that first home game in.
Yeah.
But I obviously have this one as a big time. I'd imagine this one's going to be like an ESPN Plus game. And hopefully they get it at 6:30. Yeah. I hope they don't take that ESPN 11 a.m. slot because it's gonna be hot. So I almost could see them doing another Friday night. Switch it up. I think it might be a little bit late for that. I don't know, but
they switched it. I felt like in the summer last year.
I think so. I forget, but yeah. That's obviously dub. Prediction number 1, dub.
Yeah. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
It's gonna be W.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a night game.
Hopefully it's night game. That's the big question now.
They might make it a 11 a.m. just because that Michigan game. They'll probably want that to be a night game.
Dude.
We had night games last year though.
That's true. I guess SEC we get a little.
I say we get a lot more better treatment than we did in the Big 12.
So maybe back to back.
I'm actually gonna predict my prediction for week 2.
Think it's a day game?
I think it's a big noon kickoff. It's got big noon kickoff written all over it.
Because it's Big 10 too.
Because if you remember Ohio State. No, it was Texas, Michigan last year.
Yeah, it was big noon
kickoff.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sooner fans. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
I got big noon kickoff written all over OU Michigan. Bryce Underwood coming to town.
Yeah.
Sharon Moore is coming to town. We were concerned about Sharon Moore coming to town for a little bit there. He got suspended for 2 games and then decided he's going to take that suspension week 3 and week 4. How does that work? I don't know. Apparently, he can get to pick and choose what games are suspended. I didn't know that.
You do what you want, bro.
Yeah,
you do what you want.
I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah.
I gotta play my old.
But yeah, what do you guys think about Michigan? Michigan's obviously the first big one here.
I don't know. Bryce Underwood's first year, true freshman coming into OU. Please God, do not let it be a big noon kickoff. But if it's a night game, I think it's a night game. It's a blowout.
Yeah.
I think if it's big noon kickoff, I still think we pull it off. Michigan. I feel like they've lost a lot on defense. I just don't. Their offense was terrible last year. I don't see it getting significantly 10x better with a highly touted freshman recruit.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see because it'll also be our first game as a real comp. So I'll be interested to see, even though they lost out on defense, I still think they'll be pretty solid on defense. One of the better defensive teams I feel like we'll probably see, in my opinion, but I think it's a win either way.
Yeah.
I just don't see Bryce Underwood. If he comes in here and just hey.
Then give him the Heisman.
Give him the Heisman. Literally, tip of the cap to you. But
if you're a true freshman and you come, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
If you're a true freshman and you come into OU for if it was a night or just OU in general, and you win on the road,
give it to you. Got to give it to you
against an amazing OU defense too. That's going to be headed by Brent Venables.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I agree with all that. I think a night game environment would be a lot different than a day game environment, as it always is. I do think it's going to be a good environment. My big question is the Michigan defense. They lost literally. I mean, they got drafted down the entire roster, down the whole depth chart. It felt like they just got drafted. A lot of first round and second round, third round, like good draft picks came out of there. How are they going to rebuild that? I'm not totally confident in their ability to rebuild that. They are picked as like one of the teams that will float up compared to what they did last year. And I see the direction with Michigan with the coaching staff and the play style, but I don't think next year is like their year.
Yeah.
Because they just lost so much, and I don't think that's going to get immediately replaced on defense. And I also, I don't expect their offense to go. I mean, I don't expect Michigan to ever come out and throw for 400 yards on you.
Yeah.
I mean, so anyways, I got this one as a win.
Yeah.
I got this one as a win. I think it'll be somewhat tough. I think the offense will get tested pretty early on and make some mistakes, and then it's just going to be great to get in a groove versus Michigan. Honestly, I think it'll be. I think it's going to be comfortable. I think our defense is going to hold their offense pretty well.
Yeah.
We have a good
really
run
good
defense.
like kickstart to the rest of the season. Like 2-0, we beat Michigan.
Yeah.
Power 4 school. It's a good start to the year.
I think we'll be able to stop a run defense like theirs.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
At Temple.
In Philadelphia.
Philadelphia at the Eagles Lincoln Financial Field. Yeah, chalk it up as a dub.
Golly. Bro, it's going to be tough, bro.
I just...
Virginia
Yeah.
Hurts is going to be like sitting there probably like thinking of a motivational quote. Like,
Oh, yeah, that's fact. She's going to talk to the team before.
hey,
Yeah.
fellas, the preparation's in the process.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
There's not much to say. We're playing in Philadelphia at Temple, even though Temple they're from Texas, right?
That's right. Temple's in Philadelphia, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in Philadelphia. Okay.
You're thinking of the town Temple, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay.
It
My
is.
bad.
It is in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Well,
That'd be crazy.
it's just like, there's a no-brainer. The stadium's not going to be full. There'll probably be more OU fans than Temple fans at
Yes.
that game.
Yeah. The stadium is massive. It definitely won't be full.
It'll probably be an 1 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine that would be a night game.
Oh no.
I cannot imagine.
It's probably college game day, honestly. Low key.
So,
Yeah, I
3-0.
can't believe we did a home and home with Temple. I know they are a FBS team,
It's crazy.
but it just feels like a bye game. You know, that's what it felt like last year. It felt like a bye game, and turns out we are on the road versus Temple. Next up, Jackson Arnold comes to town.
W.
Kylan McCaws, please step in.
W. If Jackson Arnold, bookmark it right here. If Jackson Arnold beats the University of Oklahoma in Norman this year, what will I do?
What will you do?
What will I do? I don't know. I'll think of something and I'll get back to you, but it won't happen, so I don't care. I don't see a way that he might not even play. He might not even be the starting quarterback. I think he is so and even if he had to come back and play us, he would coach, please, Hugh Freeze, please take me out. It's not happening.
Yeah.
W 4-0 next.
You guys know how I feel about JA, so there's no reason to talk about it. But I think he could get pulled. If he is starting, I think there's a good chance he could get pulled at halftime for Deuce Knight. I think Deuce Knight's probably better than him. That's what all the reports are saying. So,
guys, you're forgetting that in almost every way too early poll, Auburn's ahead of OU.
That's great. But Jackson Arnold
Auburn is
sucks.
ahead of OU.
People don't realize that.
I mean, I don't think we'll be underdog because we are home, but they're the better team in the rankings.
crazy.
I think Auburn is so overrated. It's unbelievable how they're even in. And what's crazy is they're ranked at like 18 to 20. I think that's way overrated. I think our team went and beat them on the road last year. And our team lost to Navy. Our team sucked. So
and we reloaded.
Yeah.
With significantly better play.
I just cannot see Auburn doing jack diddly squat in the year of our Lord 2025. So yeah, give me all the hate towards Auburn.
Yeah,
truly.
They're pretty much
4-0.
4-0. Yeah,
Auburn hate.
They
suck.
I think 4-0 is actually I think it's really possible. I don't see Auburn and Michigan being the teams that they are set out to be.
No.
I have good confidence in
And
it.
that Auburn environment was insane. And we still beat them.
And we still beat them.
With
They had an eagle.
one of the worst teams OU's ever had.
They had an eagle. A literal eagle.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Charles Barkley was there.
Was he?
Yeah.
probably.
He was.
Yeah.
You should have got out there and helped them.
Stupid.
So I do got Auburn. It's a dub. I do agree that Jackson Arnold's not ready for that kind of moment.
I think he ever is.
I just don't believe in the whole Auburn hype.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in that.
One thing I want to say about Jay, people point toward the Alabama game. We had nothing to lose. We were already out of the playoff. Like, there was not any pressure going into that game that everybody expected us to lose the game. So Jay stepped up for Alabama. No, he stepped up to Alabama when the season was shot, not when, if we were like 9-1 at that time or whatever, then it's like, I feel like it would have been a much different game.
Luke Elzinga outpassed him in the Missouri game. So, Kent State.
Before we go, also, if J.A. had that same game plan that we had for him against Alabama, he's cooked versus us. No one's letting J.A. run for 130 on us. Yeah. That's not happening. Bro's not he's not like that.
Oh, yeah, man.
I can't wait to see our guys rip his head off.
Like,
it's gonna be
they're
awesome.
going to, he made our defense suffer. They have been waiting, licking their fingers. Kip Lewis, never mind. I don't even want to get on that train. We'll get there in the fall.
Yeah,
talking about Kip Lewis and what he's thinking, but
we'll move along.
Yeah.
Kent State at home. This is the second time in the BV career that Kent State has played here. Kind of wild.
Yeah,
I don't know why we just keep buying Kent State, but hey,
it's a W.
Welcome Kent State.
Welcome Kent State. 5-0.
5-0.
W.
Going into
Texas.
At that point, we will be ranked probably fairly
pretty well,
high.
yeah.
I would say probably fairly high if we beat Michigan and Auburn. I say fairly high, I mean like top 15.
Yeah.
Top 15. Texas will probably be top 5.
If they beat Ohio State, they could be 1.
Yeah.
If they lose to Ohio State, I got them in the top 10.
Okay.
That'll be my guess for this game.
So regardless, a
Good team.
most likely top 15 matchup, most likely college game day, unless that day is stacked with other games like this past year was. I don't know. I need to look more into the schedule. But Texas, I'll let you guys go first.
Hard to predict this one. We've all said it before. It's a toss-up, 50-50. It doesn't matter who you have, who Texas has, who we have. But I will say, last year didn't make me like I didn't leave that game saying, wow, Texas is really good. I left that game saying, wow, we are really, really bad.
That is true. Yeah. I agree.
And nothing really blew me away. And the fact that their, precious savior, Quinn Ewers, is gone. But now, here comes their next precious savior, Arch Manning. I think he's good, but I don't think he's that. I don't think he is just, this whatever. I mean, he'll be solid. I think he will be a solid quarterback and do what needs to be done. But I wasn't that scared. I think that game looks a lot different if we had an offense last year. So I'm going to go on a trend and say we lost last year. So I'm going to chalk it up to a W.
Okay.
I am. Spencer already knows.
Last year we made predictions just like these, and looking back, I was like, oh my God. Why was I so over optimistic about this team?
That's fair.
I think I had us at like 10-2.
Yep. I had us at 11-1.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to be real.
Yeah.
Is what I will say about Texas, always 50-50. Always 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
Last year, I don't know. But always 50-50 shot because of just what it is. I think Arch Manning is going to be really good. I think John Mateer is going to be really good. I think this could be like Heisman versus Heisman candidate type of battle. Like this could be a really, really, really good quarterback matchup. Two good defenses. Two good. Their receiver core is going to be good. It's just an all around. It's a really, really good game. If I had to like bet real money and a lot of it, I'd bet Texas, and so I'll pick Texas just because they will have more skill. But yeah, I'd pick Texas. But I do agree it's probably just really a toss up. Yeah, I'd pick Texas here.
I agree. I think it'll be a Heisman matchup.
Yeah,
I think when the Heisman Trophy is announced in New York in December, I think John Mateer and Arch will both be there for that night. So I think it'll be a really cool game. I hate to say it, but I agree. I think Texas is going to pull it out. It's always 50-50. It always is. But I think Arch has been in there this will be his 3rd season at Texas. This will be John Mateer's first at OU with all transfer wide receivers, essentially. I don't know how many receivers they have coming back, but I hate to say that.
Yeah, it sucks, but
I mean, who's to say, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to see the first five games that we play. Mm-hmm. Like, if you would ask me week after Auburn if we would beat Texas, I would say absolutely not. Last year. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I said yeah because I was like wanting to play the OU game. But who's to say we don't run through Michigan and Auburn? It's like, okay, maybe we could. I don't know. But just right now, since we haven't seen that, I would probably pick Texas.
Yeah. It just trying to get rid of my OU fan brain and just being like, all right, let's make an objective pick here. I would, if I had to bet money, I'd probably pick Texas.
Yeah.
Just the unfortunate truth. Doesn't get really any much easier.
The rest of the schedule is
that first
insane.
half. That first half, I picked us going 5-0, 5-0, 6-0, or 5-1, 5-1, 6-0. This next half, it gets different, and it starts out at South Carolina.
It's a loss.
Right after Texas.
It's a loss.
I've been to Carolina Stadium. I watched them play Florida back in 2021.
Okay.
Yep. Where they beat Florida. And Florida's actually not bad that year. That stadium is insane. It is absolutely insane. The people there go crazy. With Lenore Sellers coming back, who is a dog, they're going to be really good. Really good.
I agree.
South Carolina's going to be really good next year.
They didn't
I'll wait to
lose
get my
it.
pick.
I don't think they lost a game after, playing us. That was the start of
They were undefeated.
They were undefeated the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Going 9-3.
Yeah.
Lenore Sellers, as goofy as that rascal looks, the big glasses, that boy can play. And
Yeah,
Dylan
he's
Stewart, I
insane.
watched him put 100 shots in Jackson Dart. I'm scared.
Yeah, they're going to be really good.
That is absurd to do as a freshman edge rusher to sack someone, and you think it is okay to pull out a make-believe bazooka and put 100 rounds. You get unsportsmanlike conduct. Your next sack, you put 100 rounds in your own teammates. That doesn't even make sense.
There you go.
So he's a lunatic. And I mean, we have one on our side, but yeah, I'm going South Carolina. I just think I've watched them play, and they just dismantle people low key. Honestly,
Yeah, they're good.
Like when they play Texas A&M, they beat the brakes off of Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And it was absurd. So yeah, I got South Carolina.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I have
It
one more
sucks.
thing to say. I think John Mateers is absolutely built for that moment in that game. I don't know if the rest of the offense
I agree.
is.
That's a problem.
And that's where I question. It's like Baker going into Ohio State. I know he's ready, but is everybody else ready? So that's my only concern with the South Carolina game is our defense will be solid. We're going to be good on defense. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But South Carolina's going to put up at least probably 24, 27,
They did that in
And
the
it's
first
like,
quarter.
Yeah.
Last year.
And it's like, can we do that with our offense?
Yeah.
John Mateer can do that.
Yeah.
Can our O-line do that? Jaden Ott can probably do that. Can our receivers do that? I don't know.
I agree. I think
I don't know.
a big job for John Mateer this offseason is building a connection with the O-line and the tight ends and the receivers so that when you get in an environment like that, he has that Baker effect of corralling the troops and getting people in a good mindset before a game like this where you're playing guys that feed off of bad energy.
Yeah.
South Carolina guys are the kind of guys that when they see you discouraged,
Yeah.
they get in your head.
Yeah.
They get in your head. A single sack is all it takes to really light them up. So,
Literally.
yeah, it's tough. I do have a loss here. I'm not that, and it's all really in the offense for me. I'm not too confident yet in the offense. This is one where I could see myself when we do our preseason predictions the week before.
Yeah.
Maybe I have a bit more confidence in the offense at that time, and maybe I switch up this pick, but I'm going to chop it up as an L.
Yeah. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm chopping up as an L, but like you said, I think after seeing the games, that could change when the game comes up.
Could switch up.
Just right now, it's just like there's so many unanswered questions.
Way too early.
There's so many unanswered questions.
I agree.
And just based off, South Carolina could be worse. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we won't know until then. But
So we got 5-2, 5-2, 6-1 so far.
Yep.
And we're coming back to Norman to play Ole Miss. This is gonna be a fun one. I'm
Be a
excited
fun
to have
game.
Ole Miss here in Norman.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin here in Norman. I think it's gonna be a fun game. I think this will really sell tickets.
Yeah.
I think they'll travel well. All that jazz.
Yeah.
I got this as a dub. I think
Yeah.
Jackson Dart's in the league. I think they lost a receiver to the league as well.
And they lost a D lineman
Forget.
who was insane.
Yeah.
Walter Nolan.
Yep.
Yeah. I got this one as a dub. I don't really have much to say. I'm really confident in this
Yeah.
game actually compared to what Ole Miss was last year.
I have not much to say other than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a dub.
Before, I just had to look up his name. before I realized who they had at quarterback, I was probably a dub. Still probably is a dub, but Austin Simmons is this kid's name, lefty quarterback.
Oh yeah, he's disgusting.
Yeah, he's gross.
He plays baseball too.
Yeah, he throws 96.
Yeah.
He has a rocket. So, and they are a skill like position team. I feel like every guy on their outside is just disgusting. So I think this will be like one of the few. I mean, besides like Texas, probably like an actual like explosive offense that'll probably test us in different ways than, you know, I mean,
test the corners a lot.
Like that's what I'm like. South Carolina, I think Lenore Sellers is just good, but I'm not like scared of Lenore Sellers. I'm scared of the environment. But Ole Miss, they have weapons, and that's what I want to see, because Eli Bowen, as good as he is, we've seen what happens when somebody's over 6'2", kind of gets cooked, and that's going to be the trend here for the this game and a few others. But I'm going to go with a win just because it's here, and last year's game wasn't that bad if we didn't have Mr. Finley calling plays, because he is just I don't know. I don't want to do that.
That's a great point. I mean, on the road, they had Jackson Dart, a lot of other guys that went to the league, and we almost we played good against them. And again, that team was terrible. That OU team was terrible. Yep. That is like my basis point. If you could not get past OU in the year of our Lord 2024, you suck. Because Navy did it. True. So, anyways, Ole Miss, chop it up as a dub for me.
Yeah.
Yep. You got it as a dub as well?
I had a dub.
6-2, 7-1.
Cool.
Then we move on to this is a crazy stretch, at Tennessee.
Start us off. Anybody?
You want it?
I want to.
Okay,
take it.
I think we win.
I think we understand. Win. I understand it now.
I think we win. Tennessee on the road. I think we do it. They lost Nico. They're starting with a new quarterback less than 6 months before the season starts. They picked up a quarterback, in April?
Yeah. And
he's going to be starting in August. I think we go in and win. Especially after the W against Ole Miss, we have some momentum. And I think this is also a must-win, too, for us in terms of, if we are 6-2, which is where we think we're at, in terms of the playoff, this is a huge game. Because then you look at the rest of our schedule, at Alabama and then LSU at home and Mizzou. In my mind, I'm thinking this is a must-win because we could lose one of these next 3 games. I think we go in and beat Tennessee and make a statement.
Yeah, agreed.
That's my take.
I think that's a good take. I'm worried about their quarterback situation for them. I don't think they should be too confident in that situation. Oh, man. This is another one that's like South Carolina where I'm I'm pretty 50-50 on it. That is a tough atmosphere.
Yeah, probably the toughest.
Good defense. James Pierce Jr. is gone, right?
Yeah, he is. Praise the Lord.
Yep.
He didn't do much against us, though.
Still, QBs rejoice.
Who's the other guy that did?
What'd you call him?
I don't know.
Tyre
West.
Tyree West.
Tyree West.
Yeah. I'll give it to us. I'll chalk it up as a W. Atmosphere is going to be tough. I think our defense will be able to do good work. Offense will be rolling by this time of the year. Yeah, I'll give it. I'll take it. I'll take a dub.
Yeah.
I think keep in mind that this is a way too early. Yeah. And I didn't sit down and look at the roster and depth chart for every one of these teams. Mm-mm. If I'm going to be honest, I know you probably thought we did, but we didn't. Dylan Sampson's gone, their running back, who was pretty much their entire offense last year. Mm-hmm. Scored 20 tutties, that's kind of nuts, honestly, as a running back. The Appalachian State kid that's going to Tennessee, he was gross at Appalachian State, but he is the Appalachian State. You're playing the Sun Belt or whatever. I'm not, whatever. But the environment... That's what's I haven't seen this era of OU football play. I'm trying. Maybe I'm missing something. If y'all think of something, please let me know. But I haven't seen us play in that type of environment. Just a tough environment. So I don't really know how. I've seen us play in Boone Pickens,
Nebraska.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Nebraska was.
I take Boone Pickens because terrible. It's Boone Pickens is loud.
Is probably the loudest.
It's very loud because it's really there. And you saw what happened.
Give them credit where credit is due at OSU. They're good.
Like we can't hear. As soon as we can't hear, we're cooked.
They got in our heads.
And that's what scares me is that I don't know. And I know the John Mateer will be ready, but there's a difference between being ready and like actually knowing what it's like, because frankly, I don't think he's ever played in anything like that. So it's going to be a weird situation. So I'm going to say it's a loss for us. It could change, but I think it's a loss. I think that environment's crazy, and I don't think they're a bad team. And you mix that with that environment, I think it's probably a loss for us.
So we're all at 7-2 now.
Yeah. You know what really goes into this whole Tennessee thing is signals and headsets. When you go on a road like this, communication between OC and quarterback is a big deal, which I am confident in with Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer. Yeah. But there was a lot of times last year where like the defense was caught lacking because they are still figuring out the play. And in a Tennessee game like that, you can catch our defense just a little bit off step. Yeah. That's something to worry about. And with the whole headset communication, it's so much different. I wonder who's going to be wearing the headset this year.
The defense?
Probably Kip.
Kobe.
I don't know. Kobe or Kip is probably the best.
I feel like Kip is just too. He's not right up here sometimes. He got a little something.
Yeah. He also might be too emotional for it.
Exactly. They're like, Kip, listen.
Yeah. He's crashing.
Kip.
He celebrated too long and they're in hurry up.
That's fact.
I don't know. It's really but that's a really important pick. Who you pick for that, because it's games like these where you have to pick the right player for that job. You really do. And Brent Venables is going to be calling the plays. And man, I would hate to be a defense coordinator in an environment like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any easier, fellas.
Very next week.
Tuscaloosa
at Bama.
I think there's a bye week between there actually.
Let's go.
So, but still,
even worse.
Actually, that's bad for it.
At Alabama, for me, guys, I'm sorry. I'm done giving the Sooners the benefit of the doubt. I got Alabama here. I want to go to this game really bad. I want to experience what Alabama's like, but
I want to go to both, bro. Tennessee and Bama.
I agree, but I got Alabama here.
Please subscribe so we can do that.
Dude, I'm going to have to ask Pook.
Yeah.
Get her some nails or something. Convince her to let me go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Spencer are going. Let's go. Maybe not.
I'll have to ask permission. The thing is, who does Bama have?
I was going to say, who's throwing the ball to Ryan Williams?
That's the thing. Who does Bama have at quarterback? Alabama's always going to have a good quarterback. I get that. I'm just saying, like, who?
I'll do some research while y'all are talking.
I'm personally...
They're in a QB battle. I know that. Mm-hmm. There's a QB battle.
I think, and I have a prediction moving forward, I think we beat Bama. I think we beat Bama on the road.
I agree. I don't think... Kalen DeBoer, I don't believe that he... For what Bama is now, what Nick Saban did for Bama, I don't think Kalen DeBoer is that guy to continue that on. He's just not like that same mindset. I feel like that.
He's just not old school.
He's not old school, and honestly, I could even see like a Deion. I think Deion could honestly, because Deion still has like low key some of that old school. Like you can't come in there acting crazy to his meetings and stuff like that. Be like, nah, you got to go. But Kalen DeBoer, you letting Malachi Moore do that in that one game and just be like, oh.
Yeah, that was the Vanderbilt game.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah,
like, that, as soon as I saw it, I said, yeah, it's not the same. Yeah. It's not the same.
Bro kicked the ball. Bro walked up because he was mad.
Bing! But
he wouldn't go out either. They were trying to sub him out. He wouldn't come out.
I said, no. But I'm right there with you. I
think we beat Bama.
I'm not that afraid of Bama. Yeah. Even though we beat them, I know we had nothing to lose. But even watching that game, it's like, man, if you can't even figure out how to put up more than 3, and you have a guy who ran a 4.4 at QB.
Yeah.
What do we?
I mean, it was literally a historical loss for them.
Like,
it was historical. Turn your ringer off.
My fault, guys.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I got
so unprofessional.
I just gotta take Alabama.
That's fair.
I just gotta take Alabama. The athletes they get, the stars they get, and that environment. I got Alabama. I just got
7-3, 8-2 so far.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I got 7-2. Their quarterback situation apparently is Ty Simpson's job to lose.
Okay. Ty Simpson's been there for. Is he a sophomore or is he a junior?
He's a 22-year-old junior. Tell me how that works.
Yeah.
Because I'm a 22-year-old graduate. I don't know how that works. He threw like 160 yards last season, obviously behind Milroe. He actually played against us when 0 for 1. So I don't know. He could be good. He's 6'2", 215.
Good build.
Good build.
Cool.
I don't know what to expect, but
Boring.
Tie.
I still got Auburn.
So 7-3, 8-2, rolling into Mizzou. Playoff hopes are alive.
They're on the table for everybody. Yeah, I still think they're on the table at 9-3. I think they'd be on the table.
Yep.
W.
W.
And it's
You already know.
I think it's a landslide.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's an absolute landslide.
I think they lost Luther Burden, who was like the player on that team that I actually thought was good. Everybody else I thought I hated, and I hate them. And I am looking forward to this game more than most.
Yeah.
I can't stand that team. I can't stand that program. I want to go to Mizzou, or I want to go play Mizzou. I want to suit up for that game, and I want to hit somebody. I hate Mizzou so bad.
I've never heard him say I want to hit somebody.
That's facts.
he hates Mizzou.
I hate Mizzou.
I want to hit somebody.
I hate them. I really do. So dub, and hopefully
Yeah, we're gonna beat the poo out of them.
I agree.
They're not gonna be good.
Yeah, if you guys have been watching for long enough, you guys already know. Elia. That's his full name. Not
Really?
Elijah. Elia.
What a loser.
Elia. Or something.
Gosh, he's a loser.
I just can't stand that rascal. He just looks so funny. And losing last year genuinely was probably
So bad.
that was probably the worst loss of the season. It's not even close.
For me,
Actually,
yeah.
I don't think it's not
by
even-
far.
just the way it happened, and then him after saying like all his comments.
Hey, Bob Stoops.
Yeah.
I don't know what you heard, but Mizzou doesn't lose to OU every year anymore.
Like, dude,
You're wearing cargo camo shorts.
Crocs jumping into grown men's arms. Anyway,
Straddling.
we'll probably get to that when Mizzou weeks comes. But yeah, it's a W. It's not going to be
W.
close. We don't have Jackson Arnold here to actually put the ball on the ground and let them have it.
Yeah, he sucks.
Oh, I'm angry.
I'm getting upset.
Last week of the year,
Yeah.
LSU. So we are at 9-2. Spencer's at 8-3.
Yeah.
So obviously playoff hopes are still alive, and all of it kind of rests on this game versus LSU. I think we lose. I think we beat Tennessee, we beat Bama, we beat Mizzou, and in typical OU fashion, like we do every year,
Yep.
after we have really good wins or really good consecutive wins, we always fall. And LSU is going to be really good this year. Like, let's keep that in mind. They're going to be really good. And they're probably going to be fighting for a playoff spot too, because it's not like their schedule is going to be easy. It's unfortunate, but I think we fall this game.
I was thinking it. Garrett Nussmeier, he's a dog.
I hate to see it.
did not.
Yeah.
I remember I said he wasn't that impressive, and then I watched him pretty much break his entire arm, collarbone, shoulder, whatever. Go into a tent, somebody rubbed a little magic on it, and he threw a 50-yard dime. And people are talking like bro's a Heisman favorite. Like,
Yeah.
now I don't know in our next or later prediction, I'll have to look at the offense around him because I don't really know. What I will know is that they've had electric wide receivers since the beginning of time. So like you said, OU is notorious. Hey, let's put our fate into the hands of somebody else. It's probably going to be 9-3, and we're going to be watching because this is by some chance it's an 11 a.m. game, and then there's a 6:30 game that we need this team to lose so we can get into the playoffs, and we're going to be sitting there like.
Yeah.
And then they win, and we're not in the playoffs, and we go play in the breakfast biscuit bowl. So, yeah.
I mean, it's just like typical OU fashion. We beat Ohio State with Baker. We lose the next week to Iowa State. We go in with Caleb Williams. We have a chance to make it to the playoff. We lose in Bedlam. I mean, it's the time. It tells all the time. Jalen Hurts goes in. We lose at Kansas State. Like we always do that. And
Prove
I
us
think
wrong.
LSU is where we
Please
do.
prove us
yeah,
wrong.
please prove us. Like, please. I hope so. But as long as I've been alive, it's been the same pattern over and over and over and over again. Same with Kyler Murray. Lost to Texas. Had to fight and claw all the way back. Texas was not nearly as good of a team as us that year. And then we beat him in the Big 12 championship. It's just like we consistently do that all the time. Have a big win and lose the very next week or soon after that. Dylan Gabriel's year. We're 7-0?
Yep.
We lose to Kansas.
Awesome. Yeah.
Then we lose to OSU. Playoff hope's gone. Season's pretty much over with. That should have been a playoff team. Gone. I think that happens with LSU, unfortunately.
Yeah. I remember watching LSU USC in Las Vegas to start off last year, and Garrett Nussmeier and Miller Moss
Yeah.
that game.
Dude, he fell off, dude. Sad.
That quarterback battle, if you have the time, go watch the highlights of that game.
nuts.
It was like watching Patty Mahomes versus Baker.
Yeah.
Not
it was
actually, but
crazy.
it was a great quarterback game, and two guys like starting their careers really was super ultra impressive. I like Garrett Nussmeier as a player. I think he's really good. Don't like Brian Kelly as a coach. I think he's really bad and annoying.
Yeah, he is.
No way.
That being said, I don't have much confidence in this game. It's kind of a 50-50, just like South Carolina and Tennessee for me. But I would probably put us at 8-4. To take a loss this game, put us at 8-4. Senior night though, that makes a difference.
That's the thing, yeah. Senior night is there. Bama senior night.
Who's going to be a senior? I don't know.
Got a couple, but-
got a young team. I got 8-4. I think 8-4 is a pretty good spot to put us at. Just outside of a playoff appearance.
In the breakfast biscuit bowl.
Okay, bowl prediction. Here's my little bowl prediction at 8-4. I would put us. You know what? Give me Vegas Bowl versus Washington or USC. That'd be my
You know
prediction.
they're not going to let us play USC, bro. They had the opportunity. I'm not a bowl knower like that. Like I could probably name them, but I don't know like you will play a Big Ten opponent.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might, depending on our wins, I think we'll slide into the playoffs. Honestly, maybe, one of those lower. Yeah. But I have no idea. I don't even want to make a bold prediction because I'll probably say something silly. And I'll be like, bro, you can't play that, bro. You have to be an armed forces team.
Yeah. I think we finished the season 9-3.
Yeah.
I think the week before, like the SEC championship, when they're all talking about who's getting in, we're going to be right on that bubble. And I could see a situation where we get in. But when you have 3 losses, it's really hard to do that. And the college football playoff year in and year out has showed that they do not value strength of schedule. They value how many wins you have. And I don't think that they will value our strength of schedule this year, especially after our last few years that our program has played in. So I personally don't think we make the playoff with a 9-3 season.
I can understand.
Awesome.
I can understand that. I think my prediction, and this is kind of out there, is like if we're 9-3, I think we get in.
Yeah.
I hope we do.
I think the committee is going to change how they do things after last year. I think last year everyone saw SMU get in and say, okay, is record really what's important here, or is strength of schedule what's important? And I think everyone agrees now. I think now that it's actually happened it is not on paper anymore. It physically happened. I think everyone can agree. I don't care if you're undefeated. I don't care. Alabama's better than SMU. Alabama was better than SMU last year. Just because they had more strength of schedule is what matters, in my opinion. I think the playoff committee will start shifting towards that in the future.
I hope they do.
But I think at 9-3 we get in. I do think if we're at 8-4, I personally think that the Vegas Bowl tried to get a USC OU matchup last year, but they couldn't because we sucked so bad. If we had 7 or 8 wins, I think the Vegas Bowl was doing everything they could to get that game set up.
Yeah.
But I don't think the way that they pick the best out of the conferences.
Yeah.
We were just so far down the SEC that they couldn't even. It just didn't make sense to pick us.
Yeah.
So I expect eventually, because USC and OU are so close. I think Vegas Bowl would make sense against USC. Gosh, I want to see it, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up our predictions for today. This is middle of May. I guarantee you all these things will change after summer ball, fall camp, and we see the first few games.
We'll probably
of the year.
change it up a ton.
But man, I'm excited for the season. This is gonna be a fun season, just like last season. Last season sucked in terms of our record and just how much we sucked. But this year's gonna be fun because we have some really cool, like, just games to watch. Like, it's good for college football in general. OU at Tennessee, OU at Bama, OU versus Texas, Michigan at OU. Like, we have so many like primetime marquee matchups. It'll be cool to watch.
As long as we get to Texas without 2 losses. If we lose Michigan and Auburn, it will get boring real quick.
Yeah.
It'll get boring real quick. But if we can just get it 4-1, go to Texas, it's going to be a fun freaking ride. It is going to be so much fun. Those home games this year, Auburn, Michigan, Ole Miss, Mizzou, LSU, Those are such good home games.
Dude,
I'm ready for it.
we
Ready
were
for it.
4-1 going into Texas last year.
Yeah, but we didn't. We didn't have Michigan and Auburn in there. We had
Auburn.
Yeah, we had.
We had Auburn and
Tulane, Temple, and Houston. So
That's
Yeah.
fire.
all right,
Right here. Peace.
that does it.